Good afternoon, good day. This is Three Course Thoughts here, and I'm just wishing you guys, hoping you guys having lovely day. Now, with that being said, we're gonna move on to today's topic, which is the potential joys of embracing paradox. Before I begin, let me just define what I mean by paradox. Paradox is basically contradiction that appears within a given situation and or context. And basically, let me give you an example of what I mean by that. If, let's say, you go into, let's say you're at home, and your mom tells you, "All right, Junior, no jumping, okay?" And then a minute later, she comes back and for whatever given reason, she's like, "Junior, why didn't you jump?" And you'll be like, "Mom, I did what you told me to, I didn't jump. You told me like a minute ago not to jump." It's like, that source of confusion and so forth is an example of a contradiction of sorts. There are better examples out there, but that's just a basic. If you want a better example, just Google contradiction, YouTube contradiction, and there can be scientific examples and several other examples. Now moving on to the topic, the joys of this paradox. Why would you want to engage in such a thing then? Three course thoughts. Why should I engage in such a thing? Paradox. Why? I'm going to give you 4 reasons. Reason number 1 is growth. So we all see growth as something moving upwards and forward, right? But what if I told you growth is not necessarily so linear, not so straight, but more so like a journey? So sometimes in growth, you go up, you rise, then you fall, then you rise again even higher than you were before, then you fall even sharper, then you rise even higher, and so forth. It may not exactly be like that, but that's just an example. Now, with respect to growth, normally, I'm referring to like emotional growth, personal growth. You usually get that through a degree of adversity and degrees of challenging oneself. So if I'm in a particular situation, let's say I'm not good at a particular thing, I'm bad at sports or something. Usually that's associated with maybe because I'm bad at it, I have certain feelings towards sports, a fear of sports. And then maybe I'm put into a situation where I have to face said disadvantage or fear. I may come out of it with a new understanding, appreciation of sports. I may not be an expert still. I might not have any talent on it. I might discover, hey, I have a talent in this particular sport and so forth. But the point is that before I had that encounter with said sport, like let's say I was bad at soccer. I didn't like soccer at all. And then I joined this, I was forced to, my mom put me in a soccer club. And at first I hated it. And then after a certain experience in the game where like the coach needed me to be in the game and the game's riding on me and we may have lost the game, but hey, the when I'm running, with the team, the wind brushing my hair and so forth, the adrenaline pumping in a competition, it's like, whoa, I didn't think that I can get that out of this experience. That's growth. So that's one thing. So basically, the internal contradiction would be like, you resisted that aspects of that experience, whether it's because things you didn't know about it, didn't understand, and so forth. But in experiencing that having that encounter, you developed a new understanding of that particular endeavor. So the next thing is also unity. What I mean by unity, like bringing things together. Like I said before, paradox is contradictions. And contradictions are most times, if not almost always, opposite things. Let's think of like elements like fire and water, bringing them together. What would usually happen? The water would get like make the fire, would douse the fire, or the fire, if it's hot enough due to the water, it'll make evaporate into steam. See that's nature. Like you have ice and fire, same thing. The fire would melt the ice, and the ice would douse the fire. So with unity now, you have two different things coming together. Let me see if I can think of an example. Let's say you have a cat and a dog. They're usually associated with being opposite ends of the spectrum. Any of you guys that are pet owners probably have had your experiences. Pets are part of the family, and you may have had your cat and your dog, and possibly, but not always, they may not have gotten along because of different natures of the animals and so forth. But in being in the family unit and getting to know each other and so forth, they begin to potentially have a chance of coexisting. That is another example of unity with respect to embracing paradox. Another one is challenge. So challenge is like if you challenge yourself or you undergo a challenge. I said previously an experience, but that the experience could be out of your control. Usually with a challenge is something that is more within the realm of your control. Let's say you say to yourself, hey, I want to improve myself. I want to make myself the best I can possibly be. In doing so, I am going to find different outlets, different ways to bring about that within myself. So I take an active role. If I see I'm not good at sports, let's go back to a sports example, for example. Let's say I know I'm great at academics. I'm trying to bolster my college application. I know I'm great in academics, but I'm terrible at sports. But I want to be an overall, all-around applicant or something like that. Or I'm looking for a job or something. I want to be a better applicant. Or let's just say I have a very competitive spirit. I'm going to challenge myself that, okay, if I'm going to be better than I was yesterday, what am I not doing? What do I not have? I may not have everything, and I don't need everything. I'm only I am a part of a grand whole. But being that part of a grand whole, how do I make myself more whole? I have to incorporate things that I wouldn't normally incorporate into myself. So let's say, going back to the example of the academic student, I'm great at academics. How can I improve myself? Maybe I could be a little faster, I might not be a sprinter, but hey, going day one, I have zero stamina. My stamina is terrible. My stamina game, weak. But if I train and so forth, undergoing this challenge, in increasing my stamina with that particular goal, day one, like I said, stamina's trash. Go into day one of the 6th month, my stamina's like 20% better than it was. You understand what I'm saying? So beforehand, you wouldn't engage in that challenge, or, you didn't have that skill set and so forth. And later on, in engaging in that challenge, you're a completely different individual. And the last one is engaging in life, and probably the most important one. Life is full of things that are opposing with one another. But if you pay close attention, you'll see that even so, as far as we know, the world is still, we still breathe air, we're still, alive and so forth. We can still hear things. Take a look at like our body systems, how it works as a whole. Our bodies, to the best of its ability, is literally trying to keep us alive. If it literally stops, the beat for like an extended period of time, we're no longer alive. It's fighting to keep us alive. Now, why is that important with paradox and engaging with life? I'm going to explain. If you have, let's do life and death. A life and death in the sense of, if you're not one, then you're the other. It's teetering like a seesaw. With that being said, you stay, you all right. So with that being said, you have your body pumping nutrients, needing that constant output. At the same time, you have all these elements, such as the cold, such as lack of nutrients and so forth. Trying, viruses, which is very relevant for these times, actually. Trying to, make the opposite occur within your body. The reason for that is, another story, but beyond the scope of this video. But my main point is that those two opposites competing with one another. And there are lots of opposites like that. So, that's all I have for today. I want you guys to have a wonderful day. Take care.